What if you were born in the wrong century? You find yourself in a bustling city square, the air thick with the scent of wood smoke and roasting meat. A group of men are gathered around a handcart listening intently to a charismatic preacher. His booming voice echoes through the square as he rails against the evils of the day, drawing parallels between current events and biblical prophecy. As he speaks, his eyes meet yours, and you can feel the intensity of his gaze boring into your soul. Suddenly, he points a gnarled finger at you and cries, "You there, you have the mark of the beast." The crowd turns and you see their faces contorted in a mixture of fear and loathing. They begin to advance on you, their eyes gleaming with a fanatical light. You run, but where can you go? The cobblestone streets are a labyrinth, and every alley seems to lead you back to the square. Finally, you stumble into a dark and dank sewer and collapse, overcome with the stench of stale waste and the oppressive darkness. Welcome to the 15th century. If you were born in the wrong century, you might find yourself in the middle of the European witch craze. Between the 1450s and 1750s, over 60,000 people were killed in Europe for practicing witchcraft. The mere suggestion of witchcraft could ruin a person's life. Accusations were often made by those seeking to acquire another person as property or by those who simply disliked them. Once accused, you had little chance of escaping the long arm of the law. Even if you weren't guilty, the legal system offered no presumption of innocence. Instead, it was up to you to prove your innocence, which was almost impossible. If found guilty, you would be put to death in the most horrible ways imaginable. Another possibility is that you might be living in a world where science and technology never advanced beyond the 19th century. In this world, the Industrial Revolution never occurred. Without the advancements in technology, life would be much more difficult. Simple things like indoor plumbing and modern medicine would be non-existent, and life expectancy would be significantly lower. It would also be a world without electricity, automobiles, airplanes and, of course, without the internet. Life would be much slower paced and more difficult. But it would also be a world without many of the conveniences that we take for granted today. You were born in the wrong century. You might find yourself in the middle of the American Civil War. The year is 1863 and you're standing on a muddy battlefield at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder and the screams of wounded soldiers. All around you, men are falling, their bodies riddled with bullets and bayonets. The fighting has been going on for days and neither side is giving an inch. You watch as a young Union soldier falls to his knees, his face pale and drawn. He looks up at you with wide, fearful eyes and whispers, "I'm mortally wounded. Please help me." What do you do? This was the situation faced by many people who lived through the American Civil War. The war was one of the bloodiest in American history, resulting in the deaths of over 620,000 soldiers. Many of those who survived the war were left with physical and psychological scars that would last a lifetime. On the other hand, you may have been born in the wrong century and find yourself living in the Roaring '20s. This was an era of great social and political change, a time when women were breaking barriers and achieving things they had only dreamed of in the past. You could be a flapper dancing the Charleston, a writer penning the next great American novel, or a businessman making a fortune in the stock market. The possibilities are endless, however. Not all was well in this seemingly glamorous world. Beneath the surface, the Great Depression was just around the corner and the country was on the brink of economic disaster. No matter what century you find yourself in, it's important to remember that every time period has its own unique challenges and opportunities. While it may be easy to romanticize the past or yearn for simpler times, it's important to remember that every era has its own problems. So if you ever find yourself complaining about the times you live in, just remember it could always be worse. You could be living in the 15th century during the witch craze, or in a world where science and technology never advanced beyond the 19th century, or in the middle of the American Civil War. Now it's your turn. When would you like to be born again? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos on what it would be like to be born in different times and places. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.